oh man, that ending was hilarious. The way they went out with that. No, I love this song. This was awesome, man. I mean, the energy in that song, it's just such good vibes. And just such
Absolutely.
amazing production and playing. I mean, it's a really great song. I was surprised by a lot of different things. Obviously, the horn section is just like banging. It's really, that's really great. But it almost had this like elevator music type of feel to it. Like it's something that like this funk with these like really strong horns and this like happy feeling with some elevator music, some electric piano, like a smooth bass line at times, but then like a funk bass line at others. It was and even that guitar like
Yeah.
the guitar like at the end is really catchy. You could tell that the guitarist, like whoever produced it or the guitarist, came up with that lick like, and it was meant to be somewhere else in the song, and they're like, we'll just play it once at the end of the song and like go out to that. And it's really memorable, really catchy. I think I even heard some strings slip in there at the end, which just
I'm not sure, but maybe.
yeah, I mean, it's just really surprising and fun. I really like that track.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been getting so into like funk and stuff like that over the past like year and a half or so. And this just like that really just thick 70s style like backbeat and just all of the horns and stuff like that. It's just a great modern throwback funk song.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny that you mentioned the backbeat because I didn't think of a 70s backbeat, but I guess the drum sounds themselves actually do have kind of like a heavy, almost like John Bonham type feel to them, which
Exactly,
I
yeah.
wouldn't think of that being associated with funk music at all. But you're right. It absolutely had that sort of sound to it, which is an amazing piece of engineering, for that sound.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really
Yeah,
cool.
they're I'm just looking because I don't think that I ever listened to that first album that I found the one song off of. I don't think that I ever listened to the full thing. It is a long record. It's an hour and 3 minutes with 22 songs on it.
Wow.
It's
That's too
got like a
long. What
bunch of like
happened?
it's got a bunch of like interludes and stuff like that. I kind of want to strap in and listen to this thing. I'm curious what this entire record sounds like.
Maybe something went weird with the record deal. Like they got signed to a deal, and then like the record company pulled it back, and they're like, "Well, we have 10 songs, and we're not giving to you until you sign the deal and you give us our money." So then they do it, and they're like, "Okay, well, we have those 10 songs, and just wrap it into the next 12 songs as well, and just make it one album."
I mean, there are some people though. Some people just have trouble writing, a 30 to 45 minute record, and they just no matter what, just always come up with something that's like an hour long. Like I don't know if you're into like metal or anything like that at all, but I remember watching a documentary on the band Periphery and the making of one of their albums. And I remember them just saying at one point, "Oh, shoot, we wrote another hour-long album. Well, we'll go for the 45-minute one next time." Or something like that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like,
pretty amazing. I'm not familiar with that band. There was a period where I was into metal for sure, but more progressive metal for sure, like Dream Theater and bands like that. But
yeah.
yeah, no, that's interesting. I am a prolific writer, but the work that has to go into producing electronic music and mixing and mastering it, and obviously I make the sounds from scratch, so I'll start with like a sine wave or a square wave, saw wave, and I'll make each synth individually, and there's a lot of synths, leads, pads, and all kinds of stuff like chordal synths in my stuff. So for me, I mean, it takes I've estimated that it takes me about 30 hours to write one piece of music and mix and master it. So if you want me to write a 20 song album, it's going to take a while. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of work. It might take me 6 months, to put that album together. And it's not.
That is true.
Yeah.
But if you have your one guitar tone and that's your guitar tone throughout the entire record,
Yes.
that makes that aspect of it a lot easier.
It does, yeah.
And that expedites a lot of
Yeah,
time.
the production aspect is really takes up a lot of my time. That's true. If I just had a stock set of sounds that I went to, it probably would be easier. And maybe I should think about doing that, where I'll just come up with some sounds like this is one of the leads that I always use. This is one of my signature sounds. I probably should do that. You got my brain spinning. It's churning here, Ryan. Good call.
Well, that's one of the things that I've heard from a lot of electronic producers is that they will take sessions where they're not even trying to write. They're just doing sound design sessions, making cool bass sounds and making cool lead sounds, and then just saving them as presets. Even if they don't end up using them, they've just got this library of original sounds that they can reach for. If they're like, oh, I want, like an acid bass or whatever, then they've got like a set of like 20 acid basses that they can choose from.
Yeah, that's a good call. I've heard of
that are all original sounds.
Right. Yeah, I've definitely heard of musicians doing it, and it's not something that I do. I don't typically sit down and craft sounds unless I'm trying to write a piece of music, but it probably would actually make my process better because I would then be able to focus on the music and just kind of grab a sound and not like stifle any type of creativity, in that moment while I'm trying to like craft the sound itself. But on the other hand, maybe I don't have the sound that I'm looking for and I can't get the tonality that I want. And it's ruining my creativity on that moment because I don't want to write without hearing that sound, so it's kind of a catch-22 a little bit, for that.
For sure. All right. So how are we going to close this episode out?
Yeah. So thanks for sharing. I don't know if I can follow that one up. I mean, that was really fun. And I just want to like go walk in the sunshine, even though it's nighttime right now. So I don't know if I could, I wasn't prepared for that. But yeah, the next song, or I guess the last song of this show will, well, actually I have a couple, Ryan, that I could go with. Okay. Yeah. So I because you asked me to find some songs, I did find more than, I found a couple extras that I do love. And there is one that has a lot of energy. I just don't know much about the artist at all. It's a Japanese artist, and it's very video gamey. But it's got a lot of energy. And then the other one is from a more known artist for me that is definitely more in the jazzy style that I really, I love that sound, like beats, chill hop, 90s, Dilla grooves and stuff like that. So what would you rather hear at this point?
Well, we've already done the lo-fi hip hops to study too.
I knew you were going to say it. I knew it.
So
okay,
it's just such a good joke. But so I kind of want to hear that Japanese song that you were talking about.
Of course you do.
That sounds cool.
Of course you do. So yeah, so I had a feeling you were going to say that. So this song. It was released this year. I don't know exactly when it was released, but it's in 2021. It's by an artist called Zekk, Z-E-K-K. And the single is actually, I'm on their Spotify channel, and they actually have a pretty wide discography dating back to like 2017. But I just discovered this artist today.
Oh, it looks like
yeah. So you looked them up. But this song that just came out this year, I don't know how to pronounce it at all. I mean, it's written in Japanese characters, so I have no clue what it says. But from using Google Translate, I deciphered that it might mean free fall, and that's probably true because the cover does have a person falling in the sky, illustration of that. So. That's probably true, but it does. Yeah, the song has some lyrics that are there. There's English and Japanese in it. So, anyway, I thought it was a really cool song. I'll share it. Zekk, and I guess we'll call the song "Free Fall" because that's the English translation.